Well, hello everybody. Jason here from Night Hair and Leather. I hope you're doing well today. Today I'm going to put together a couple of our pen sleeves that we use here at Night Hair and Leather, not only for our personal use, but we also sell them. Going to be making two individual pen sleeves made from Horween Dublin. This is English Tan and this is Brown Nut. I thought I'd just show you guys the process that I go through to put these together. I've got some tools around that I'm going to use to bring it all together, and hopefully by the end of the video you'll see the finished product of what one of our pen sleeves looks like. First off, take a couple of pieces of leather here. Obviously I've already cut them. We have Brown Nut here, and this is 6.5 inches long by 1.75 inches wide. Same for the English Tan over here. The reason I make them this size is because I tend to, my own personal use is to have bigger pens, bigger fountain pens. And so, like as an example here, this is a TWSBI VAC 700. It's a bigger pen, longer pen, a little bit beefier of a pen. And so the pen sleeve is going to need to be a little bit bigger for the type of pens I was using. If you are using something smaller, adjust the size accordingly. But this is the size that I sell on our website. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to round off the corners here. I'm going to bring it over a punch pad and going to use our corner rounders that we have here. These are from Tandy. These are Craft Tool Pro corner rounders. And I use two different sizes. The top is going to be a little bit bigger of a corner rounder than the bottom. You can use coins, you can use other things to make circles if you don't have these corner rounders. Let's switch over to the smaller corner rounder for the bottom of the pen sleeve. Set that out of the way. And I'm just using a Berry King maul to help hammer these corner rounders. I'm going to go to the English Tan. Switch to the bigger one for the top of the pen sleeve. All right, so those are done. So I'm going to move this punch pad out of the way. And I'm going to flip these guys over because I'm going to put some glue on them. There are lots of different glues out there that you could use for leather. Lots of opinions on what's the best glue to use. My advice has always been find what works best for you and use it. For me, I use what's called EverTac from Springfield Leather. It's what I like to use with all the different products that I make here. It seems to spread easily and holds really well. You'll notice that I am putting glue around the edges, but not all the way to the top, obviously, because that's where the pen is going to be inserted. And I've left about 1.5 inches at the top. The glue is just meant to hold your pieces together while you stitch them. your leather products, hopefully, as you make them, will be held together by great stitching and not by your glue. The glue will easily come apart. Your stitching hopefully will not. All right, so we have our 2 pen sleeves that have been glued up a little bit here. Going to give them a chance to dry a little bit. When it comes to punching the holes for my stitching, I'm going to use these KS blade punches with the circle holes, a little bit thicker, so a little bit different than like a pricking iron that has kind of a French curve or something. These, I think, create a little hole like this, and it's got a dynamic look. It uses a bit of a bigger thread to kind of give it a chunkier look to it. Let's bring these over together, and I'm just going to match them up. Make sure all the sides are even, at least as close as they can be. Same over here. The better aligned you get, the easier your sanding process will be. Just to flatten them out a little bit, get the glue going, I'm going to use one of these rollers from Dream Factory. All right, so real simple there. Edges look pretty even. Obviously the edges aren't done. I'll finish those later, but you want to start off with some clean edges there. When it comes to starting off the punches, I'm just going to use just a scratch awl here. I'm just going to measure down about 30 millimeters or so, just to get a good starting point for my stitching, because I want this to be able to open up a little bit so you can get your pen out. Just going to let them dry for a second here. There we go. Our wing divider, come on over here. I'm just going to create the line I'm going to use to punch my holes, hopefully get a straight line out of it. There we go. So they're both ready to go. Bring over a punch pad that'll make it a little bit easier for me to punch through the leather to create the holes. And so I'm just going to start by placing the first punch here at the top of the line, and I'm going to keep it in the center of my scratch that I made. Go all the way through and punch all the way down. Again, trying to keep my punch in the middle of my line so I don't get a wavy stitch line. I'm going to switch over to the 2-punch to go around this corner. Pick up my 5-punch here. Go around the corner again. come all the way back up. Again, trying to keep my punch in that middle of that line. And there we go. This one's punched up, ready to go. Ready to be stitched, I should say. I'm going to bring this one over, do the same thing. Grab my 2-punch here. We'll do one more. There we go. Excellent. Just get rid of this pad. Sweep up some of this leftovers from the punches. So we now have our 2 pen sleeves that are ready to be stitched. Got some tiger thread here. I'm going to grab my needles. Here we go. I keep them in this fun little container. All right, gonna grab some thread. Pretty much know how long to pull it off, just about an arm's length for me. You can measure it out and so forth. Some say, if you measure it out and then you times it by 5, you should have enough. I always want to err on the side of having more than less. There's nothing more frustrating than going through a project and getting almost done and not having enough thread. That's a bit of a bummer. Okay, so I pierced my needle here and got it through the eye. So real simple, I just put it through the eye of the needle, pull it through, pull it down, come back through and pierce the thread again, pull that through all the way down and cinch it up. Okay. You can stitch these any way you want that you find to be helpful for you. There's lots of ways to do it. I just noticed that my punch wasn't great on that first one, so I'm just going to come back through here and do it one more time just because it makes it a lot easier. There we go, much better. So I'm going to just do it by hand here. I'm not going to use a stitching pony since we're doing this video here. I'm just going to go through and lace this up. This style of stitching is a lot easier when you have the circle holes. Makes it easier to get the needle through. I'm just going to take this bottom one here and cinch it up as well. Put it through one more time. And then back through. All right, so I got that stitched up. Just going to trim it up here. So there's the stitching for the English tan. Again, it's a brown thread. I'm just going to take care of these thread ends here. Naturally, I grabbed the thread zapper that's not working right now, but this one should, hopefully. There we go. Okay. You know, I'm going to end up doing the same thing with this pen sleeve here, thread it through, but for the sake of our video, let's just focus on the English tan one, see if we can finish this one up. I'm going to use just a smooth-faced hammer and pound the threads down. Just to get them nice and uniform. You only have to do one side because the other side is going to be feeling the pressure when you hammer it down. I'm going to bring a couple of sanding blocks over to help sand down the edges. I just have some sandpaper on some, what is that, about a 1x4 or so. Starting off with 240 grit, and I'm just going to sand down my edges, get them uniform and smooth. So that they're nice and even. I'm going to move to, this is a 800 grit, and rub through all the sides and the corners. And then I'm going to move to my last one, which is a 3000 grit. Do the same. Try to get those edges nice and neat. Now to bevel the edges, I'm going to use my Palo Santo edge beveler. This is a number 1. Even just doing that, you can see how beautiful the pull-up is on this English tan. Flip it over and do the same thing. Come up over the top. All right, so got that done. I'm going to grab some of this tocanole, or tocanol, however you'd like to pronounce it. Just put a little bit on my finger. I'm going to rub it on the edges. This cream hopefully will bind those fibers together and give it a nice edge on the finished product. If you don't have tocanol, you can use, well, you can use water, gum tragacanth, whatever is going to work for you. I like to use a bit of canvas and just rub that in. You don't have to rub hard. It's using the friction and the heat. Sorry about the trash truck driving by right now as I'm filming this. Isn't that lovely? Great timing. And just do the top here as well. Why don't we just do one more little coat here? A little thin coat. And I'll use that piece of canvas again. Just to kind of get that edge to come together and shine up a little bit. All right, so again, I'm going to do the same thing to this brown nut, but not at this moment. Before I finish up, I'm going to put some of this carnauba cream on this leather here. It's this particular leather looks great when it's got a little bit of cream on it, and so you can use saddle soap, you can use this type of carnauba cream, whatever's going to work for you. Smith's Leather Balm, that's the type of brush I'm going to use. I'm just going to use a horsehair brush I should say, and just kind of come through and rub that in. I'll flip it over, do the same thing on this side. It just helps the leather come to life again. Okay, so there we have it. This is one of our pen sleeves. Again, I'm going to finish this one up later, but you can see how it came out. Let me show you by putting a pen in. I'll grab that same pen I referred to earlier. It's going to be a little tight since it's brand new, but you can see just how the pull-up just comes through with the pen sliding in to the Horween Dublin. Just a beautiful look. There we go. Fits perfectly. That's great for carrying it in your pocket or for your bag or just keeping it on your desk, keeping it nice and safe. Well, again, this is Jason from Night Hair and Leather. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. Feel free to leave a comment below with any questions, or you can email us at nighthairandleather@gmail.com. Check us out on our website, nighthairandleather.com, for more leather goods. We'll talk to you later.